At our family estate meeting, my brother announced, "I sold the house, you were never meant to have a share." My mother nodded, "He deserves it more than you." My heart pounded as they celebrated, until I pulled out a sealed letter from our late father. "Funny," I said, because he had a very different plan. When I read the first line, the room fell into chaos. "So, this happened last month." Still not over it. "I'm writing this because I need to let it out. I haven't told anyone except my cousin, and she said this sounds like something out of a bad family soap opera. Maybe it does. But it's 100% real. My dad passed away 2 years ago. He wasn't perfect, but he worked hard, built a name for himself in construction, and poured his soul into restoring this old house in Savannah, Georgia. It was his life's work. It's been in our family for generations, a big estate-style house with wraparound porches, creaky floors, old oak trees, the whole southern deal. There were 3 of us left. Me, my older brother Nathan, and our mom. Nathan's always been the golden boy. Star athlete, charm for days, and Mom never hid the fact she adored him. Me? I was the responsible one. The one who didn't cause problems. Which basically means I was ignored unless something needed to get done. Anyway, after Dad died, things got quiet. He didn't leave a will that we knew of. Or at least that's what Mom and Nathan said. They told me everything was jointly owned between Mom and Dad, so legally, everything just went to her. I didn't want to start a fight. I was grieving. I lived in Atlanta at the time, a few hours away. I figured we'd sort it all out eventually. Until I got a text from Nathan 2 months ago, family meeting at the house next weekend. Be there. No explanation. No context. Just that. I show up the following Saturday. House still looked the same, except now it felt empty. Like it was holding its breath. We sat in the living room. Me on the old couch, Nathan on Dad's favorite armchair like he owned the place. Mom sat prim and proper on the edge of the love seat, holding her little cup of chamomile tea like she was auditioning for Downton Abbey. Then Nathan just says it, "So, I sold the house." Just like that. Like he was telling me he ordered pizza. I actually laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. "I already signed the paperwork," he said. "Should close in a couple weeks. We're getting a good price for it." I was stunned. "We?" Nathan shrugged. "I talked to Mom. It's for the best." Mom nodded, looking at me with this weird mix of pity and condescension. "He needs it more than you," she said. "You've got your own life. He's trying to build something." My ears were ringing. I felt hot all over. "You mean to tell me you two sold the house, Dad's house, without even talking to me about it?" "You were never meant to have a share," Nathan said, standing up like he was delivering some grand announcement. "Dad always said I'd take over. You were just visiting." I swear, my chest was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. And then something inside me snapped. Because I remembered something. 2 weeks before this meeting, I'd been going through a box of old documents Dad had kept in our garage, stuff Mom said was just junk. And in that box, hidden between 2 books, was a sealed envelope. Thick paper. Wax seal with his initials. Addressed to both of us. I hadn't opened it yet. I was scared, honestly. But in that moment, I reached into my bag and pulled it out. "Funny," I said, holding it up, because he had a very different plan. Nathan rolled his eyes. Mom squinted at the envelope like she couldn't even believe it was real. I broke the seal. My hands were shaking. The paper smelled old, like dust and tobacco. But the handwriting was unmistakable. Dad's. I started reading it out loud. "To my children, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. I hate that it had to be like this. But I've seen how things are going, and I need to make sure my wishes are clear. To Nathan, you've got a head for business. I've seen your drive. I've also seen the risks you take. That's why I've set aside money for you. A good amount. $500,000. Use it well. 2. My name, you've always cared more about the heart of this family than the money. You understood what this house means. That's why I'm leaving it to you. It's yours. Take care of it. Keep it in the family. Everything else goes to your mother. The room went dead silent. Nathan's face went white, then red, then a shade I've never seen before. Mom's teacup slipped from her fingers and shattered on the hardwood floor. You forged that, Nathan said immediately. This is Bull's *****. But he didn't sound confident. It's notarized, I said, flipping the second page. There's a witness signature. His lawyer's stamp. You want to try me? Mom stood up slowly, staring at the letter like it was a ghost. This can't be right, she said. He told me he was giving Nathan the house. He told me. I looked at her, and for the first time in my life, I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Just, nothing. He lied to you then, I said. Or you lied to yourself. Nathan was pacing now, muttering to himself. We had a deal, he kept saying. We had ing deal. I asked him straight up, who did you sell it to? He mumbled a name. Some company. Out-of-town developer. The paperwork hadn't fully processed yet. There might be a chance to stop it. But it would be messy. Lawyers would be involved. And suddenly, both Nathan and Mom were acting like maybe this wasn't such a great idea after all. That's where we're at. Everything's on pause. I'm sitting on something real and legally binding, but they're trying to spin it, twist it, invalidate it. And now I have to decide what to do next. Do I blow it all up? Do I lawyer up and fight them to the bitter end? Or do I walk away and let them have it, knowing I'll never really be part of this family again if I do? I don't have an ending yet. But I do know this, my father knew what was coming. He knew how they were. And he tried, even after death, to protect me. I don't think I'll ever forgive them. But I'll make sure his voice is heard. Even if I have to burn everything down to do it. Alright, so after I read the letter out loud and dropped that bomb, things didn't calm down. They got worse. Way worse. Nathan left that day without saying much. Just stormed out, slammed the door, muttering something about calling his lawyer. Mom stayed behind, pacing in the kitchen, muttering to herself like she was in some kind of trance. I stayed the night at the house. Slept in my old room, though I barely slept at all. I kept thinking about the letter. About how Dad must have known this exact scene would happen. The fact he hid the letter that well. Buried in a box, between books, in a garage no one touched for years, told me everything. He knew they wouldn't respect his wishes. He knew I'd have to prove it. Next morning, I drove straight to Dad's old lawyer's office. His name's Mr. Garland, old guy, mid-70s, sharp as a blade and doesn't waste time. I told him about the letter. Showed it to him. His eyes widened, and he nodded slowly. I remember drafting this, he said. Your father asked me to hold a copy. He told me not to release it unless you brought the original. So yeah, it was real. 100% legit. My father left me the house. Nathan got cash. Mom got the rest. But now here's where things took a nasty turn. Mr. Garland raised his eyebrows and said, strange timing though. Nathan came to see me 3 weeks ago. I blinked. What? Yeah, he continued. Asked about your dad's estate. Wanted to know if any paperwork was ever filed giving you any legal claim to the house. I swear, my stomach dropped to the floor. Nathan knew. He knew there was a chance Dad didn't leave it to him. That's why he rushed to sell it before anything came out. That's why he never told me about the meeting until the very last minute. He was trying to get rid of the house before the truth could surface. It gets worse. I asked Mr. Garland if the buyer was legit. He asked for the name and looked it up. Turns out, the buyer isn't just some random developer like Nathan claimed. It's his business partner. A guy named Todd Vickers, a sleazy guy from Florida I'd met once at Nathan's wedding years ago. I remember Dad hated him. Said he gave off snake energy. Nathan wasn't selling the house to get out of financial trouble. He was selling it to himself. They'd set up a shell LLC with a fake name, fake address, the whole 9 yards. Nathan's plan was to transfer the house quietly, then flip it for 10 times more or knock it down and build condos or whatever the hell those guys do. I drove back to Savannah that night, heart in my throat. When I pulled up to the house, Nathan was already there. Lights on, his car parked like he owned the damn place. I walked in without knocking. He was in the dining room, laptop open, phone in hand. "We need to talk," I said. He didn't even flinch. "If you're here to play lawyer, don't bother. We both know how this ends." "Yeah," I said, stepping closer, "with you behind bars if you try to push this through." Garland told me everything. About Todd. About the LLC. About you trying to steal this house. His face finally cracked. He looked tired. Not scared, just beat. He sat down slowly and rubbed his hands over his face. "You don't get it," he said. "You never did." I folded my arms. "Then explain it." Nathan leaned back in the chair. "I'm broke. Deep. I borrowed from the wrong people. This house was the only thing left. Todd said we could flip it fast, get clean, get out. You were going to cut me out and lie to Mom just to pay off some mob loan?" I snapped. He didn't deny it. "I had no choice," he said quietly. "They're not the kind of people you say no to." That shut me up for a second. Because as much as I hated him in that moment, I believed him. I looked into his eyes and saw real fear. Not fear of me, fear of them. He continued, "They want their money next week. If I don't deliver, they come after me. Or my wife. Or my kid." "Yeah. He has a kid. My niece. She's 6. And now this whole thing wasn't just about greed. It was about danger." I should have walked out. I should have told him it was his mess and left him to rot. But the thing is, I'm not like him. And despite everything, she's my niece. And he's still my brother. So now I'm stuck. If I enforce the letter and claim the house, he's screwed. If I let him finish the sale, I lose the last piece of my dad's legacy. Either way, it's war. "Mom?" She's gone radio silent. I think the guilt finally hit her, or maybe she just can't face what her son turned into. And me? I'm about to call a different lawyer. Because no matter what I do next, I need backup. And I'm not backing down. So yeah. If you read my last update, you know that things were already spiraling. Nathan tried to sell our family estate behind my back. Turns out, he wasn't just trying to make a buck, he was trying to pay off shady debts to keep his family safe. The house? Just a pawn. But I didn't see the next twist coming. Because while I was dealing with Nathan's drama, I got a call from Mr. Garland's paralegal. She said, "There's something you might want to see. We found another document your father left in his private files. It wasn't included in the original estate packet, he asked us to only release it if someone tried to contest the will." I drove back to the lawyer's office, heart racing again. Second time in a week. They handed me a thin folder with a sticky note in Dad's handwriting. "Only show this if they lie." Inside was a copy of a second will, one that was never filed in court. This one was a bombshell. This version didn't just reaffirm that I owned the house. It revealed something bigger. My father had discovered that Nathan wasn't his biological son. Yeah. Read that again. There it was in black and white. A dated paternity test from nearly 35 years ago, sealed in a plastic sleeve, and a long, gut-wrenching letter. I knew from the beginning he wasn't mine. I didn't want to believe it. Your mother begged me to raise him as my own. I agreed. I loved him like he was my blood. But in the end, I couldn't ignore the truth. I watched him grow into someone I didn't recognize. The lying, the greed, it didn't come from me. And when I saw how he and your mother acted after I got sick, I knew they'd throw you aside the first chance they got. This letter isn't revenge. It's protection. You are my child. You were the one who stayed. Who listened. Who understood. I read it 3 times, each word digging a little deeper. I didn't even know what to feel. Betrayed? Sad? Vindicated? Then came the worst part. There was a handwritten confession from my mother, signed and dated just after Nathan was born. He doesn't know. Please, let him think you're his father. I made a mistake, but I want to fix it. I'll never let it happen again. I took the file, drove back to the house, and just sat in the driveway. 4 hours. I didn't call Nathan. I didn't tell Mom. Not yet. Instead, I went inside and looked around. Every creak of the floor, every photo on the walls, it all meant something. This wasn't just a house. It was my father's legacy. His name was on every beam. Every nail. And now I knew why he left it to me. Why he trusted me. But here's the real kicker. While going through more old files in the upstairs office that night, I found something else my dad left behind. In a locked drawer, hidden under some dusty tax returns, was a USB drive. Labeled simply, "For when the lies come out." I opened it. There were videos. Recordings. Dates on each file. The first one showed Nathan and Todd, years ago, talking about leveraging the property and cutting me out before she gets involved. Another showed Mom, sitting on the porch, talking to someone on the phone about how she was done pretending and how she never thought Dad would actually leave anything to her daughter. It wasn't just about money. It was about betrayal. A whole web of it. Going back decades. So here's where I'm at. I have legal proof that my father left me the house. I have evidence that Nathan tried to fraudulently sell it. I know now that Nathan isn't even biologically my dad's son. And my own mother has been lying to both of us our entire lives. I'm sitting on a mountain of truth, and for the first time, they don't know what I know. I haven't shown them the second will. Or the USB. Not yet. Nathan keeps texting me, begging me to find a solution. He says the people he owes money to are coming into town. He says he's desperate. Mom called once. Just once. Left a voicemail, "We need to talk. Things got out of hand. Please, just come over." And me? I'm not sure what to do next. Part of me wants to take all of this and burn it to the ground. Lawyer up, press charges, make them pay. But another part of me wants to wait. Let them come to me. Let them lie. Because now I've got the truth. And I'm not done yet. So I did it. I waited until the estate meeting we were supposed to have again, this time, with everyone invited. Nathan, my mom, and surprisingly, my aunt and uncle, Dad's sister and her husband, showed up too. They were always kind to me, kept their distance when things got bad, but my aunt said she wanted to see things for herself. We gathered in the living room. Same place Nathan announced he sold the house. Same room where they both told me I was never meant to have a share. I stood by the fireplace. I had the documents. The paternity test. The second will. And the USB drive. All in a neat folder on the table. I didn't wait for pleasantries. I just said, before we talk about anything, you all need to see this. I plugged in the USB to the old TV's media port and played the first video. The one of Nathan and Todd. They were younger, laughing, sipping whiskey, talking about getting the house out of probate and cutting her out before she knows what's happening. My aunt gasped. My mom froze. Nathan looked like he'd been hit in the stomach. You recorded me? He barked. No, I said. Dad did. Then came the second clip. Mom, sitting on the porch, phone to her ear, he still thinks Nathan is his. I swear, if he finds out, it's over. I just want this to end already. I want the house, I want peace. She started crying before the clip even ended. Where did you get this? She whispered, voice shaking. Dad left it for me, I said. For when the lies came out. Then I opened the folder. I handed Nathan a copy of the paternity test. I handed my mom her confession, in her own handwriting. I didn't want this, I said, barely holding it together. But you left me no choice. Nathan stood up, grabbed the papers, and threw them across the room. Why are you doing this? He shouted. You think this makes you better than me? You think Dad would have wanted this? You think this makes you special? No, I said. I think he wanted me to know the truth. My mom reached for the documents, shaking her head like she could erase it all. I didn't want it to come out like this, she said through tears. I loved you both, don't, I cut her off. You chose him. Over and over. Even after he tried to sell the house behind my back. Even after he lied to both of us. The room went quiet again. My aunt spoke softly. We all had our suspicions. But to see it confirmed like this, then she turned to my mom. You let this go on for decades. You made your daughter think she was less than. You let your son take advantage of everyone, including his dying father. Nathan collapsed back into his chair. No words left. Just breathing. Heavy. Defeated. I didn't ask to be born, he mumbled. You all treat me like I planned this. You didn't plan your birth, I said. But you planned the betrayal. You tried to steal this house. You knew it didn't belong to you. You had a choice. And you made it. My mom finally broke. She sat down and sobbed into her hands. Aunt Carol tried to console her, but even she looked shaken. And me? I stood there. Watching them fall apart. And I felt. Nothing. Or maybe relief. Years of wondering if I was crazy. If I was imagining the favoritism. The coldness. The fake smiles. It was all real. And now, they had to sit with it. Nathan left that night without another word. I heard his car peel out of the driveway like he couldn't get away fast enough. Mom stayed. We didn't talk much. She just sat there, staring at the fireplace, eyes swollen, murmuring things to herself I couldn't make out. She tried to hug me once. I stepped back. Don't, I said. Not now. She nodded. She knew. Aunt Carol helped me contact Mr. Garland and submit all the new evidence. The house is now officially mine. Nathan's deal with Todd fell apart once the fraud came to light. I don't know what happened to the people he owed money to. I heard through my cousin he's moved back to Florida. That he and his wife are figuring things out. I haven't heard from him since. Mom tried to call me again last week. I didn't pick up. She sent a letter. It was long. Mostly guilt. Some apologies. She said she's in therapy now. Said she never stopped loving me. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not even sad. I'm tired. But I'm free. I stayed in the house. I repaired a few things. Gutted the office. Built a small garden out back like Dad always wanted. It's peaceful now. Sometimes I still think about that day, the shouting, the crying, the broken pieces of my family scattered around the room. But then I think about my dad. And how, even from the grave, he fought for me. He left me the truth. And that truth saved me. I don't know if I'll ever fully forgive them. But I do know one thing, this house? It's mine now. And no one will ever take that from me again.